Welcome to another episode of Dying with Diabetes in America. So, tonight, you may notice it's just the beautiful me on one side, Michelle Robinson, and I have with me today not my normal co host, Mike Herlihy. He is superstarring it up in a stand up gig. Doing his comedian. He's amazing. You should check out his YouTube and his different productions because they're brilliant.
He's hilarious.
I know, right? So I'm actually here with Daniel Tuszynski-Lempke.
Yes. Did it this time.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. But the creator of Dead Pancreas Society, of Dab Designs, I mean, you are the brains and the beauty, love.
It's a group effort.
No, it's beautiful. The way that you have developed this is honestly really, really beautiful, and I think it's really uplifting for people to see.
I'm glad you said that because, like you said, that leads us into our topic of depression and why I made the group and needing to reach out when you have nobody.
I think it's a beautiful sentiment, and you and I have talked about before that a lot of diabetes groups can seem bullyish at times.
100%.
Very judgmental, very like, no, you need to do it this way, low carb, high fat, low fat. I don't even know what it is anymore. It's a bunch of acronyms.
Well, I mean, I feel like we're like that because as diabetics, 90% of the time, like you said, we're our own doctors. So we kind of feel entitled or on our soapbox when someone comes in.
Something works for us, so obviously it has to work for you.
Everybody, for real.
Yeah,
because we're not all different.
Right. We forget that this is the very definition of a your mileage may vary disease.
Definitely.
I mean, it is different for every single person, and it's huge. People just don't understand that, don't get that. Well, my sister's husband or my grandmother's cat.
Just want to stuff that damn thing in a bag.
Feed it okra water, I'm telling you what.
Take some lime and cinnamon.
We had you on before. And we talked a lot about your business and how amazing and awesome it is. And it totally is. But, we didn't really get into the I said this on our last episode, brass tacks of everything.
Yes.
So, I mean, you were diagnosed at 19. And this evening, we are talking about mental health, specifically mental health in diabetics. It's very important to note to all the viewers that we are not doctors. We are not therapists. We are just here to give you the opinions or we're here to relay the experiences we had. And hopefully that helps you, which is all that Danny and I feel we're really here to do, is to help people not feel as bad about themselves as they might.
That's true because, you can get into those dark spots and burnouts and depression and anxiety. It's a real thing. I'm going through it right now,
I know. I mean, you and I talk, I think, a little bit regularly now. And, you've helped me out of my hermit moments, is what I call them, when I just retreat from friends, family, the world.
The world.
Exactly. You numb yourself out. And I mean, I don't know. For me, I can say I wasn't overly depressed or sad before the diabetes. I was like the normal kind of teenage sad. Like the
world is out to get me.
Yeah. Oh, so sad. But
thanks.
Yeah, I, for myself and in very stupid decisions, I decided to use other means. When I got diagnosed with diabetes, I started smoking cigarettes. And it was literally because, and anybody who has smoked a first cigarette after years, or yeah, or a first cigarette of any time, knows you feel a little bit high.
It's a rush.
Exactly. And I never totally understood that. But I know that whenever I would be sobbing about my blood sugar having to do needles and I was offered a cigarette, I was like, yeah, I'm down. No problem. And of course, with addiction, it just gets worse and worse and
Well,
worse.
of course, you rely on it. It
Exactly.
becomes a crutch.
If you can't have it, you feel overwhelmed
Very.
because you're like, I can't do what I need to do. I can't check my blood sugar and give myself needles or stick myself with the cannula for the pump or whatever. I
Mhm.
can't do that without this release. So I mean, for me, yeah, it was an addiction, a love at times, and a crutch just because it made things easier.
So
So,
you
I
thought.
mean, yeah, exactly. So I thought at the time, I mean, yeah, they had skulls on them at that point, but still, like,
Well, if that's the case, buy my T-shirts.
and subscribe to my show.
Heard.
So, I mean, it's it's funny because I think I don't know. I just know for myself things got exponentially bad after I was diagnosed. Like to the point that I went on my first antidepressant right after I was
Mhm.
diagnosed. And I remember it made me feel like a robot, and I hated that because it was during my what does your pump say?
It says it's time for some sweet tea.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna check mine just because I don't believe in it right now. It's like it might tell me one thing, but it might say, "Ha ha ha, fuck you." Okay, it's 131 going straight.
There we go.
It's a little bit higher than a unicorn, but it'll do. I'm glad you have sweet tea with you.
Oh yeah, I was prepared. I told you I was getting ready. I knew I was gonna
I
go well.
know. No, no, completely understand it. So, I mean, when it goes back to it, like eh, I got a lot worse with my depression to the point that personally I was a cutter. I would take whatever sharp object. Ew, when I think about what I didn't disinfect, the fact I still have all my limbs is amazing.
Hallelujah.
But like, you take and you dig it into your skin. You dig it into your skin until you bleed and it makes you feel better.
Makes you feel something.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
because you're so numb to everything else that
Hmm.
pain is the only thing you can feel.
Yes. Because you
And you
already feel anger all the time. Happiness isn't something that you can ever even touch. And
no.
if you cry, you're never going to stop.
See, because they put me on Wellbutrin
Oh, I hated that. Oh, I
after
hated that.
after I got diagnosed, and I wasn't really a robot,
Yeah.
but after they put me on Wellbutrin and Klonopins,
Ooh,
and
goodness.
I was supposed to take the Klonopins 3 times a day, and I got to my
Mhm.
second pill, and I lost my shit, and
Yeah.
I ended up fighting with my ex, and it led to other things, and I ended up going to jail that night,
Oh my goodness.
and it was a bad reaction to the Klonopins. So I got out the next day, and I flushed them. And
Good.
I called my doctor and I was like, I can't take those. Those
And
are
guess what? You're never going to prescribe me
like
again.
those don't work for Danny, like whatsoever.
And it's sucky because you have to think of everything. I mean, I have been on things before that, you know, I've been on different meds that make my blood sugar go higher because it makes your insulin resistance become
Hmm.
more. And it's like, what kind of bullshit is that? Like the third answer I have to give you on the 4 million forms you need is, are you diabetic? Yes, yes, I am.
Hmm.
And I don't like. it baffles my mind on how many times I have to tell the doctors, like, I'll sit there and look it up when they tell me what the medicine is, because you know what? I'm going to find somewhere where it tells me no good for diabetics.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't like man-made drugs. I feel like doctors are
Mm,
like mechanics. You know, they only get
yes.
paid when something goes wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of iffy.
But I mean, I drink kale smoothies every morning. So, I mean, that's as naturopathic as I'm going to get.
Better than sucking toes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So my
See, and this is the part of mental health that you have to find good people that you can joke around with, because
yes,
a laugh can change everything.
it can. It can change the entire trajectory of the day. Like,
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. I woke up today and it was a hard day. It wasn't even a well, I showed you. I went like straight up to over 300
Yeah,
and
you
then
did.
straight down. Oh, so bad. It was so. It was a glass of wine. It was
Oh,
it was my fault. But
self-inflicted. It's okay. We do it to
um,
ourselves.
I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. My body was like, luckily, I woke up and it was normal and that was good. But it's hard to always find the funny in your day or to find the meaning in your day. And it's so much easier when you feel awful. And like I texted you this morning, I felt that pain, which you brought up, and you're totally right. It's neuropathy. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with my toe, but it feels like somebody is taking hot pokers to it and just stabbing it. Suck.
Stop it,
Ooh, mm-mm. No, you don't yell at that.
Brock.
Mm-mm.
He's just finicky today. It's all right. He's like me. He's in the mood.
Did you name your pump?
Richard.
I
He's
love
such a
it.
dick.
Oh, and I have the Omnipod. I had the tagline because you could name your PDM or whatever, and it was Wonder Woman. So
Yes.
every time my doctors would have to download it, they'd be like, "Hey, Wonder Woman, what's your password?"
Oh, see, because I'd come up with some messed up shit. Like, they'd hate me.
I have to say, even when I call and I talk to the secretary now, she knows who I am. Like,
Hmm.
we'll make jokes. We'll make jokes constantly because I had them go and fill a prescription for InPen, which is out of California, and it's by a company named Companion Medical.
That's your
I don't,
favorite pen, right?
yeah, I do. I love it. I don't have it right now because I can't get the damn Fias vials, and I'm so tired of fighting. I don't want to fight. So I go into the app and I manually log it in because it still has all my settings. And I mean, I bought a pen. I just can't use it. So, like, I spent money out of my own pocket to buy a pen, and they're like, "Oh my god,
It doesn't
it's
work.
not in a pen that you have to throw away and ruin the earth with. We're not covering it. Sorry." So that's been a lot of my, and I can't deal with the conversations anymore. And I have started seeing a therapist, as you and I have talked about, because of all this craziness. Like, as we said, diabetes invokes a lot of emotional and mental pain, not including the scar tissue and everything else we deal with.
Yeah.
And we have to check in on each other and ourselves because, like, for me, I didn't realize I was so angry about diabetes. Like, you figure I've had it for 20 years and I'm so angry about it still.
I've become more angry about it with this election. I have
Mhm.
noticed.
Yep.
And I get more and more aggressively pissed off as I sit there and I'm thinking, I get charged thousands of dollars a month. And thank God for insurance, because, not everybody has it.
I mean,
That
mine won't cover Dexcom. Mine won't cover a pump.
But but at least you still get help.
No,
There
totally. Totally
there's still
love my
some
insurance.
people who
We have
don't get
well
help at
insurance.
all.
Right.
That I can't imagine, like, I was that person 8 months ago, and for years I was guessing my own shit to try
Yeah.
to stay alive. So, it burns my ass when I hear things like, oh, I'm getting insulin cheaper than water. Or, it hurts my heart that America is not on the same wavelength as everybody else on United Healthcare to help
Yes.
everybody
Yes.
live. And it pisses me off that, I'm paying thousands of dollars out of pocket that to be normal
Mm-hmm.
when everybody else has that right. I'm like, man, really?
Exactly. We didn't ask for this. At no point in time did we screw, shoot up, do anything else to give us this disease. And I always thought that was the biggest, like, kick in my metaphorical balls because I'm like, I didn't try for this. It's like there
You
is
won.
nothing I could have done to stop it.
Mm-mm.
And if I don't have this certain medicine, I'm gonna die without it.
And then
You
you're penalized.
exactly, and you're paying. Oh my god, I remember the months I was paying $100 for 4 vials because oh yeah, let me just and I thought that was a deal at the time.
See, I'm paying $40 for 2 a month.
I love you. But you do have great BD's control. I mean, I'll give it to you.
But like I said, I'm such a stickler on my numbers. Like,
I
I
know
watch
you
them
are.
consistently, and that's another thing that is stop it. I'm vibrating again. That is mentally taxing is
Yes.
if you want to be the perfect diabetic, which does not exist.
No, not at
It is
all.
You can't have a full-time job. You can't have a
No.
family. You can't have friends. You can't have
Any
an outside life.
responsibilities,
Mm-mm.
anything.
Nope, because it is a taxing full-time 7-Eleven job.
I mean, it sucks, and you're so right. And there's so many people that, have type 1, and we've seen them post on the different groups and what have you of but how hard of a time they're having and how just drained they feel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I get it. I mean, you don't look at food, at least I don't look really at food anymore in an appetizing way.
I look at
I
numbers.
Yep, I just see the numbers. And when I eat, when I chew, when I swallow, all I can think is I hope my stomach is going to be able to move everything through because of damage from diabetes. So it's like, I guess when I was doing all the lab work at the craziness in Miami for the transplant, it took me, I want to say, I could be wrong, an hour and 30 minutes to digest my meal.
Mm.
And they were able to test that by giving me an aspirin and seeing how long it took to go through my
Go
system.
through your system.
But that's the problem. I mean, damage from diabetes has ruined the nerves in my stomach to let it know, like, hey, you're going to digest now.
Now.
Exactly. And I mean, it's again, these are complications that we didn't ask for. I mean, a normal person goes and breaks their arm, you can pretty much go into the ER and get treated, and though you can dodge those bills for a while, it does you're not going to die from it.
From us, it could.
Well, no, totally, but they're not going to die having to get more and more medical care for
Oh,
something
100%.
chronic.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's sad that no one cares enough to realize that, yeah, there's people who need oxygen. You guys make sure they get oxygen. Maybe not enough oxygen as they should have, but they get oxygen.
Right.
You treat people who have extreme addictions. You give them certain drugs that they can have, and that's great.
To help them wave them.
We should do that. but I'm a normal American who works a 40-hour-a-week job at the time, paid for full health insurance, and you're telling me that I can't have the medicine I need to live.
Yeah, and you pay taxes.
Isn't that great?
Isn't it?
So, I mean, so for you personally, did you have problems with sadness, depression beforehand, or did you have it after, or did you find that
I think
it
I've
started?
always I think I've always suffered from it, but
Mhm.
I also think the reason I suffer from it is because I've never really been great at coping. I've always been great at masking and
Understandable.
putting it on the back burner, and if I put a happy face on, no one else knows it, and I don't have to deal with it. And that's how I've always
Mhm.
been. And later in my adult years, I have really started to having to face it because,
Gotcha.
it just if you don't deal with it, it comes
It's
back and bites you in the ass.
it's closer to the surface.
It
The
does
more and more time that you let it simmer, it
fester up.
just
Mhm.
mhm.
So I've now noticed that in my adult years, I've really had to work harder to maintain my mental stability.
Gotcha.
Like
Yeah.
every day is different. You know, you try to put on a happy face and bullshit it for everybody else, but at the end of the day, you start to look at yourself, and you
Yeah.
have to deal with those feelings, and
Yeah.
it's not easy, and it's
I
okay
think
not to be okay.
mhm.
You know,
Absolutely. Very, very true. And that's, I think, another thing that diabetics have a problem with is we want perfection. We want perfection in our blood sugar, and we don't realize how it leaks into everything else. Where it's, no, I have to control this. If I don't control this, I'm doing something wrong.
hmm
Hey, look at your sugar.
how am I still dropping? What in the world?
You
Listen
better
here,
have
Richard.
more sweet tea.
I am okay. I'm listening.
So I was gonna ask you a question you're gonna have to answer, so I'll take my time. So I brought up my cutting and what have you. Have you faced any adversities in your life?
Drug addiction.
Okay. And do you feel that was brought on by the problems with your mental health?
Yes, most definitely. I feel
Okay.
if I had better coping skills, which
Mm-hmm.
therapy has started to teach me, but if I would
Yes.
have had those skills as a teenager, I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like I would have been as weak or as vulnerable to try and do an experiment and then be a follower,
Yeah.
because now as an adult, I'm finding who I am as who I
Mm-hmm.
am, like I'm strong enough to stand on my own. And if you don't like me, I don't care.
You're loving yourself. At the
Amen.
end of the day, you are loving yourself. And I think that we might tend to see, like how we see food as numbers. I think we tend to see self love more as self preservation,
hmm
where you're just trying to keep your numbers under control. When they're not, you feel like crap, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally. You are continually beating yourself up.
hmm
It's like the people who are trying to quit cigarettes and then keep smoking "Oh, I'll just have 2, I'll just have 3, I'll just have 4." And
Yep.
it's like, that inside, if they think, if I wanted to quit, I should just be able to do it like that, not seeing the problem with their mentality.
They're too close to the picture.
Exactly. And I think that's one thing that diabetics have a really big problem with. So we don't practice self love like we should.
Like we should. Yeah.
We just see it as, no, as long as I don't have any oozing wounds or bleeding gums, bleeding eyes, and I can still feel everything most of the time, I'm
Most of the
good.
time.
Yeah. And I can't put into words on how harmful that is.
Yeah, because you're bartering with your life. Like
Yep.
it's hard to do.
It really, really is. Every single day having to deal with a chronic illness that slaps you in the face every time you eat,
hmm
every time you have an emotional upturn or downturn. And the fact that you're constantly fighting with people, if it's not the pharmacist, it's the insurance company, or it's the doctor, or it's never
Other
ending.
diabetics.
Exactly.
Because I'm telling you what,
You're not a real diabetic. Let me just tell you a little something about you.
I'm telling you what, the next person who has a pizza emoji or a pizza icon that wants to tell me some shit, we're gonna have some issues. I'm telling you.
I loved it. I loved it so hard. So okay. So back to drug addiction. And do you mind me asking you
Go
your
for it. Oh,
poison
my
of choice?
my poison of choice was cocaine.
Gotcha. Okay. Um. So I mean, not to advocate at all for it, but did it mess with your sugars?
Well, at that point in time,
Sorry.
I was not diagnosed.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
That had spiraled from my grandfather passing away. And
Oh.
it came from my dad actually passed away when I was a child. I was almost 2 when my dad died.
I'm so
So my
sorry.
so my grandfather stepped in. So he was my dad.
Yeah.
So when he died, I lost it. Like there was no finding me. Like if I
Right.
could run, I ran. And I ran like a gazelle. Like you couldn't catch me. Like so I did that for ooh, probably 2 years. And I mean, I just hated myself. The more I did it, the more I hated myself. And the more I hated myself, the more I would use.
Yeah.
And it was just the darkest time of my life. And if it wasn't for my mother, I probably wouldn't be here today. Like she really had to love me when I couldn't love myself.
That's what good mamas are good at.
I agree. And like I said, like when I came from a small town that I was the only type 1 diabetic. So I had to make a group on Facebook to reach out so I could find all you amazing people. Because like without y'all, I don't think I'd make it. Like mentally, y'all have been there to support me through it all. And it's awesome. Like I love it.
I think it's really sweet. And I think it's especially sweet when you say that because there are mornings where you message me and it's like, what's up, my Florida sunshine? And I'm not going to lie, like, it gives me breath.
It's someone who understands that like, okay, they know I might be having a shitty day. I
Yeah.
might have been up all night with high blood sugar or treating a low, they're checking on my well-being. And
It's huge.
and to have someone who checks on you with no other intentions.
Right.
They don't want nothing else from you, but
Mm-hmm.
just know that you're okay because you're a friend. It's a great
Yeah.
feeling.
It really is. I have to say that is the one biggest woo woo I have found from any of the different Facebook groups is you can find, I mean, you're going to have the haters. You're going to have the people that say really dumb things. And you just kind of have to, really,
Not in
really.
our group. They get departed.
Yes. No, no, no. You've got a one-way ticket out of here.
And you don't
But
want to mess with Jess or Leslie. Like
oh my goodness.
they
I'm in
scare me.
stitches every single time. So if our viewers, if you type 1, type 2, we're really type anything.
Yeah.
But if you want to come into the group and you have a sense of humor, it is dead. Pancreas Society. Facebook I'm sorry, group on Facebook. So, I mean, please, if you've got a sense of humor and you're not a stick in the mud, and I say that as PC as I can say it, woo woo, come and party.
we, we're down for a good time.
Exactly. So, I mean, I love that groups like yours. And there's a few other groups that I'm in, but I love that they exist
Hmm.
because I remember when way back when, in the early years of Facebook and looking around for groups and finding them so small-minded.
Hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, if you're not doing, what was that? Low, f- low carb, high fat diet? Is
Oh.
that the crazy? There's a diet that a lot of the special people are really into, and they're like, you have to read this book, and you have to do this and this and this
Oh,
and
like the
this and
Atkins
this.
diet?
Yeah, yeah, it's like the Atkins diet, but it's Doctor B something. I don't remember who, and I
Dr.
don't
Be
want
Hungry.
exactly right. And I don't want to smear their name, but it's like these people would post pictures of their salad, and it was like five
Depressing.
pieces, high 5 pieces of lettuce, 2 twigs that it looks like they harvested from the backyard.
Like, no wonder you're bitchy. You're hungry. Like,
Exactly.
girl, eat a hamburger.
But that's all you found when, at least when I first started
Mhm.
researching groups. And it was really, really hard to feel like you fit in anywhere, or that you could complain, or even that you could say like, I had a glass of wine, my blood sugar's 317. I messed up.
And our group are like, drink some water. Those ketones will get you.
And I love that too. There's no hate in the judgment, no hate in the advice. There's sarcastic comments, but in the end of the day, it's very much a friendly group. Unless you get on the wrong side of us, but otherwise, a friendly group. And that's I think one of the best qualities. That's why you have 1,000 members.
We're actually almost at 1,300 now. Isn't
Oh
that
my god.
crazy?
Are you serious?
We go about 100 people every 2 days.
That's banana. I
It
know
is.
because they pop up, but I'm like, I don't know you. I have accepted the people that I have invited because I've invited a bunch of people from like other groups, and I'm like, yes,
I
come
got kicked out. I
in.
got kicked out of a group the other day for posting my group in there. Haters.
Some people are hate. I can tell you, I still don't think I'm allowed to post in one group that I'm a part of because I was like, hey, if anybody wants to come on the show where you won't get paid, just saying, we're going to talk about diabetes. And I got this message, and it was like, you are not allowed to post
They're
until
like,
blah blah blah.
listen here, cheap bitch. if you're gonna solicit us, you gotta pay us.
I mean, I was just like, dude, I'm not getting anything either. But people and I'm sure that helps cut out 90% of their crap, though. Of
Probably.
of people that are like, oh my god, the one guy in photography that asked if he could post.
Yes, I love his pictures.
Love his pictures, and I love that he did that.
Me
I
too.
mean, how very incredibly adult-like, professional, and just nice.
Well, and not only that, but like I love the fact that he wanted to do that because it. I love photography and I love nature
Beautiful.
photos. Like it makes me happy,
Mhm.
and I'm a fan of anything that makes me happy. So if it brings joy to him, it might bring joy to anybody else. So I'm all for it.
I completely agree. I mean, I posted not too long ago that I was having a hard time in Dead Pancreas Society, and that I was like, "Hey, can you send me a picture of your fur babies?"
Dogs, yes.
Oh my god, I got so many
Like
responses.
300 comments.
I know, I loved it. It gave me just doop 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 doop. Look at the doop doop doop. I loved it. It brightened my entire day.
And sometimes you just need that.
Yeah. I mean, and it's hard because you go on YouTube and you look for cute, funny videos and you get one, and then you get the sad, sheltered dog that's never felt love in its life. And I'm like, where does it live? We need to go help it.
Ugh, I know. And then all you gotta do is hear that song. And anybody who's seen those,
I will remember you. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to ask Mike to.
see, I didn't know what we were allowed to do with trademarks.
So good. No, he'll be able to cut it just so he doesn't.
I didn't even say her name.
No, yeah, no, he'll totally have to take it out because.
But if
So yeah.
anybody's seen those ASPCA commercials, you know
Oh
what we're
my
talking
god.
about.
Oh my gosh. It's rough. I should have hummed it.
When they just look at you.
The,
Let me in.
don't you want to love me?
See, this is where I get in trouble because I would have them all. And then
I
I'd get
would
in
too.
trouble.
No, I would too. You have to get enough land and then register yourself as a rescue so that you can have an ungodly amount. But then, like for me, I would have to build them their own housing thing where they would
Mhm.
have their own crates. I'm totally down for that. But they need air conditioning and heating.
Huh? Especially in
They need
Florida.
working lights. Oh my God, yes. And I have to say, with the rescue that I'm working with, it breaks my heart sometimes because some people are awful, like
Mhm.
truly heartbreakingly awful. And you see it and you go, oh my God, you just want to do everything you can.
Mhm.
And there's so many of them.
See, we're part of the rescue for the Yulin over in China, the
Oh,
Yulin Dog
really?
Festival. Yes.
Yes. I just watched a video about that. A girl had rescued one, just brought it over and everything.
Mhm. That's disturbing.
I can't even. What? There was an episode talking about horse meat. Was that with you?
I know Taco Bell, I think, has horse meat. It's like 10%.
I don't remember. It might not have been, but it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Although I used to say the same thing about venison. Like, so I had a very evil uncle, not related to the family, but uncle Tom, who used to make up venison burgers. And every time he came over, and I never knew what it was, I was like, whatever, it's a hamburger. Mm. And as I got older, he finally told me. And I must have been maybe 11. And I'm like, you made me eat Bambi? And because he was a jerk, he was like, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
totally. And Bambi's mom.
Like, you ate Bambi's mom first. That was the first shot you
Mm.
heard. Wasn't a warning shot.
Awful, awful. But I mean, it was, taste wise, it was very good. Which is why I won't ever be able to have any of the like the veal. Mm-mm, mm-mm.
You ever had gator tail?
Yes, yes, I
That
have. I've
that
had
is my
gator
fave.
tail like in a baked like dish, which was weird. But I've had
Fried.
gator jerky.
Mhm. Yes.
And that's amazing. Like it's not as salty. I
No.
mean, for me, I don't feel it's as salty. You can eat more of it without having to like, I'm dying. But I was really, really a fan of it. So I mean, yeah, yeah. And I figure, ha ha, screw you, because I don't feel bad when the gator. Oh, I'm gonna get hatred by gator lovers. PETA,
I
don't come after me.
I thought you talking about, like, University of West Florida.
Mm.
Whoops.
uh, so I mean, so okay. So going back to the mental health thing, because we've gotten away from it. Um, I mean, you were an addict for how long?
2 years.
Okay,
I did for 2
and
years.
your mom, being the wonderful, amazing, strong help that she
Scary woman
was.
that she is.
I mean, I'm sorry, us badass bitches can't be beautiful all the time.
That woman, I'm 32 years old, and she just turned 58 on the 10th, and that woman will still beat my
Oh,
ass into the ground.
happy belated birthday to your mom. Make
Yeah.
sure she watches this episode. Happy belated
She
birthday.
watches every episode. I
I
made she
love it.
we sit in our crafting room and we will craft and watch episodes.
I love it. Absolutely. So, all right. So she got you into rehab. She got you
She sat me
convinced
down
you gonna go.
and she told me that I had one of two options. I can either kill myself by myself or I can accept treatment.
So she's
And
like a Saw version.
she is very Italian
I
and
love
very
it.
much she don't play. Like, she raised three boys
Yeah.
by herself. So she
I
has
remember
very
because you
zero
said your
tolerance.
dad passed away when you were 2, 3.
Almost two. He died on June 4th and I was born on June 30th. So it was literally days before.
Yeah.
But she managed. Like I
So
said, she
yeah, she was like, "This is how it's gonna be. You're gonna do it, or you're gonna do this. I don't give it."
She didn't give me no options.
Nice.
She's like, if you want to still be a part of this family, you're going to do what I tell you to.
Yeah, and I mean, you said you were in treatment for how long?
Uh, 11 months, almost 12
Okay.
months.
Okay. So I mean, half the time that you had been
Doing it.
using, yeah. So I mean, I think it's amazing that you went through it. And I can't imagine how hard that must have been. Did you find any of the therapy helpful towards your diabetes? Like
No, because
anything
like
that
I
you
said,
could go, I can hang my diabetic hat on that.
no. I mean, now I can, like, looking back on it, because like I said, back then I wasn't diagnosed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting. You are yeah, you're correct.
So like now I think about it, I can look back on it and apply what they taught me. And that's why I said, like, therapy. I think everybody could use some therapy. Therapy is a great thing.
Yes.
We all got some shit to
Yes.
talk about.
I think that especially during the COVID, I mean, you have to have an outlet of some kind.
Oh, most definitely.
You want it to be the healthiest outlet that you can have, and it's very hard with the current. Ooh, what happened? Okay, that was a cell phone. That wasn't your Dexcom, though.
No, that was my activities.
Okay. Oh, is it telling you to stand up? My watch always tells me to stand up. I get really pissed off at it.
No, it told me my move goals have been achieved. What?
Nice. So, but I think that people not checking in on their mental health during this time is going to create such a problem, and people
What?
don't even really see it yet.
I know for me, with being on lockdown and Florida really not being on lockdown. I mean, we were, but we weren't. So like you kind of were, and you had people doing their own damn thing and getting
It's
everybody else sick.
because of the super great governor we have.
What? I know who I'm not fucking voting for.
I already sent in my vote-in ballot. So I have, you can't see it because the big ass chair's in the way, but I have vote with Ruth Bader
Yeah.
Ginsburg. And then over here, I have that I voted. That I
Yay.
voted. Because I sent that shit in mail. I was like, gone. You're gonna. I don't have to worry about. Oh, will you get it in time? I sent it in like a month early. Boom, take it.
Voted.
Exactly. I was like, I am not. I mean, I didn't wait with the last one either, and that didn't
Nope.
work out in my favor. But
You know, you
we
went
gotta make it
through.
work now.
We're
So
gonna figure it out.
to all our viewers, God love you if you're one way or the other. We don't hate you. But vote.
Yes, definitely
Vote,
vote.
vote, 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 vote.
Whoever you vote
Google,
for.
yeah, Google your weird things that come up on the ballot that other than like the president you on I didn't know a lot of. There were so many different amendments and blah blah blah, and I'm like, I don't know who you are. So I spent a couple of hours really going through everything online, just learning as much as I could about this. And then today I got the sample ballot. I'm like, wow, thanks. Super helpful. But just vote,
Yes,
vote,
it's
vote, vote.
definitely important for you to vote. You like without the younger generations coming forward,
Yeah,
there will be no voice. Like,
I
and we,
think,
especially now, like this is such a huge time, pivotal for us
yes.
to voice our opinions. Like now is the time.
And you can't complain if you don't voice your opinion. Like
I
if
mean,
you
you
just,
can, but none of us are
well,
going to
yeah.
listen to you.
Who'd you vote for? I wrote in Elvis.
Walking in Memphis.
Oh my god! But it's sad. It's sad that we're at this point. I can only hope. I thought in the last 4 years that the pre-existing conditions were going to be reversed. I and not for lack of trying, but they haven't been.
Mm-mm.
And I can honestly say, I swear a Facebook memory is going to pop up that says, "I bet you in 4 years I'm not going to have insurance." All right, I will eat crow on that because I was wrong. However,
Touche.
I don't want to gamble anymore.
No.
Like, I want somebody who's going to go, we're going to cover you and you're going to be okay.
Because you're a valid, important member of our society.
Exactly.
And we should fucking take care of you. But no.
But no, like, so, hopefully people will vote out the pumpkin patch, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Try the
Well,
pumpkin spice.
Oh no! Don't say that. The what is it? The hipster moms, or not even
Well,
hipster moms, but everybody
the
loves
soccer,
pumpkins.
the soccer moms, and
I never understood it. I don't like the taste of pumpkin spice,
gee,
but
though,
that's me.
that's got to be like a $15 billion a year thing that Starbucks has got going on.
I know.
They're
I know.
smart.
They got me for caramel macchiatos for years.
Oh, they got me on the caramel frappes.
Oh, okay. I always had more of a problem with the frappe, with the like taking insulin.
Me too, because they're 90 damn fucking carbs.
Oh my god, they're so good. But the caramel macchiato, that was quick. And if I was working at Universal that day, I could hit it right before I went into work. And I'd hit it and I'd drink it. And I'd take so much insulin, like 15 units for whatever a medium is. I don't care. And like in 30 minutes, my blood sugar would be okay. It would, but I ran around a lot, and I was constantly on foot when I worked in Universal.
I wonder if they still have the Jaws ride.
They do not.
That was my only memory as a child going to
Really?
Universal was the Jaws ride. Yeah, that shit scared me. Like, I was not down for that.
I mean, I remember. Okay, so I still remember when they had a Ghostbusters thing that you'd walk through, and I would have, and it was the coolest. I loved it. And then King Kong.
I remember
The
King Kong.
King Kong is
And
actually
he grabbed the thing and shook it. I remember.
yeah. So it's funny. You should ask Mike, or as Jessica and I in the last episode called him Mike.
I know. I made fun of him about it.
That's great. So you should ask. He used to be one of the people that was talking, that was like narrating everything, driving the cart. That's how he and I met. We met at Universal Studios. I
That's
was out back
crazy.
smoking a cigarette.
Curing your diabetes.
Hell yeah, I was. Between that and the caramel macchiato, I'd throw a little cinnamon in it. Had it done.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, he was the rail operator in it. It was hysterical. But I mean, I remember the Jaws ride. The Jaws ride I loved. They took out, I think they just took out the Terminator one. Remember, like, the weird 3D Terminator ride? It was like literally just a screen
It
you
was
were
the
watching.
screen, yeah.
It wasn't you moved around at all.
You just sat down.
Yeah. And they had the horror makeup show.
I remember that too, yes.
I loved that. That was one of my favorites.
Do you remember that?
The guys that worked there were amazing. So, I mean, yeah, I worked there for many years.
Back to the 90s.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I'm not that old. That was 2002? 2001? Okay, it was close enough, whatever.
So it was almost 1999. Isn't that what you said you were going to do tonight?
I know. Well, it's funny. Party like it's 1999, I guess a month before I got diagnosed.
Before shit went to hell in a handbasket?
Exactly. Before it all went to hell in a handbasket. But I mean, I have to say, for me, the therapy has helped. And, it hurts. It hurts my heart when I see others struggle with the problems that they're having. Like, just normal diabetes, but everything compounds on itself. And the worse you feel physically, the worse you're going to feel mentally and emotionally. And I think that what we both try to do is try to look for the very, 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 very faint light at the end of the
Very long tunnel.
Shithole tunnel.
Girl.
Ah! But we are able to do it. And what I really just wanted this episode to do is to show people it's okay to be scatterbrained. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. You know, eh, you're not you're not always going to be perfect. You
You're not a
can't
computer.
be. Exactly.
We're
You're
not
not a book.
we're not
It's
programmed to be one specific thing. It's okay to have emotions and it's okay to act upon them and it's okay to not be okay.
exactly. The biggest thing is you need to try to take care of yourself. Yourself mentally and emotionally above all. I
Find
mean, of
yourself
course,
people who can see that inside of you when you can't admit
mhm,
it to everybody else.
yeah. I mean, just having one person being able to support you emotionally and mentally is worth all the friends in the world.
Definitely.
And you have to find yours. And if you can't find one, that's when you really lean on these groups, because that's what we're here for.
Hmm.
We're here to support. We're here to send stupid memes and cute dog pictures, but also to be, hey, call me if you need to scream, because not everyone will be able to understand your scream.
Well, I mean, like that was like you, like when we first started talking and like really
Mhm.
starting to get to know each other. You're like, there's times that I'll fall off the face of the earth.
Mhm.
And I said, well, that doesn't really work for me. Like, if I text you, I better get like a text message back, like I'm busy or like something better happen because I am the kind of person that I'll get in my car and I will drive to your house and I'll knock on your door and be like, yo, chick.
I'm not gonna lie. You have not proven that wrong, or you have not proven that false at all.
No,
And I love that. And all I can really say is I hope everybody finds something like that.
I hope so too. But
Everybody
everybody needs support.
everybody does. And they need to realize that they are more than their diabetes.
Hmm.
That diabetes is just it's a part of us.
A small part. I mean, a
Exactly.
small part of us, but it takes up a big part of our lives. But
It does. But we have to, and I feel, coming from where I am, I have to look at it as not my entire life. And I think I've been doing that for too long.
hmm
And it's made things a little bit overwhelming at times, because
very.
it's hard to switch. It's hard to go, okay, well, I'll be all right now. And then check your blood sugar and it's 400.
You're like, well, maybe I'm not all right now.
Yeah, maybe I just need more time, or maybe I have a stomach flu, or maybe I'm getting my period. Like, it could be a gazillion
Anything.
things.
It could be
Exactly.
anything from an infection to just an emotional mess.
Yep. No, totally. So I hope people find their diabetes.
Me
I
too.
hope.
I love that.
Yee, I know I do too. I can't say I made it up on my own. I'm sure I
Whatever.
stole
We're
it
gonna
from
make a
other
meme out of
people.
it.
I love it. Love it. Diabetes.
Right.
So, but I mean, you need that. And that's what we hope to be and to spread, is everybody needs one. You you might not want to talk to people about it, but then you have to think, who have you been talking to about it? Have you been talking to your family and your friends who love you but don't know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or have you been talking about it to somebody who understands your love for cookie dough and oh my god, I know, and forgives you when you slip?
Right. When you fall off that high wagon.
Exactly.
See, I found it easier reaching out to strangers, oddly
I
enough,
agree.
because, like I
It's
said,
less biased.
well, not even that, but like I said, it
Mm,
was the fact that finding people who understood.
yes.
Like, because I
Well,
could
and
sit
you
here and
didn't have a lot
explain.
of people around you. You didn't
Mm,
have anybody around you with type 1.
no.
And I can't say, like, I've had a handful of people my entire life around me with type 1. And I didn't I didn't dislike any of them, but they just weren't my friends. Like,
Right? You'd be like, well, yeah.
okay, you got it too. Woo woo. I worked with a dude who literally had the body of a fitness guru who was like, yeah, I have type 1 diabetes. I'm like, oh, that's great. He's like, but my girlfriend gives me my shots in my butt because I can't do it. I was like, oh, it's awesome. Love it.
All I can think about is Arnold. He's like, girly man.
Oh my God. No, totally. But like, no country on new toes. I won't be back. Oh, I hope he doesn't get hit for trademark there too. So, all right, we're gonna wind this down. We've been kind of all over the place, but I love it. That's
Who we
the way
are.
we are. That's the way we talk. So, I mean, anybody that is tuning in and listening to us tonight, I know for me, biggest thing is love yourself. Love every part of yourself, even the crappy parts that don't work, because this is all you got.
Yep. You only get one. You only get one time around the world.
Exactly. So,
Enjoy it while you can.
yeah, if you sit there and you wallow too much about the diabetes,
You're never going to live.
Yep.
You're never going to live.
You're going to be sad constantly because this shit's chronic.
It ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
It's ride or die.
So, all right. So I want to share 3 phone numbers because we've been talking about mental health. I think it's really important. So the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, if you or somebody you know is having feelings or ideations about suicide, you can call 1-800-273-8255. That's talk. 1-800-273-8255. If you're feeling like you want to self-harm, as I was just kind of touching upon earlier, you can call 1-800-366-8288. That's 1-800-DON'T-CUT. 1-800-366-8288. Last but not least, another suicide helpline is National Hopeline Network. 1-800-784-2433. That's 1-800-SUICIDE. 1-800-784-2433. Reach out because nobody is going to be able to help you if you do not reach out for help.
Exactly. No one else knows unless you tell them.
Absolutely. So, Danny, it's been absolutely great having you on for my first single show.
See, look at us. We can do it.
I'm so excited.
Who needs Mike A?
Who needs Mickey? Mickey is out there rocking it as a comedian. And, I make fun of him.
Bitch.
But I absolutely adore him. He's incredibly talented. So.
I have subscribed to all of his YouTube.
Oh my God, like the 104.1 laughs? Is it 104.1?
Yeah, it's
I think it is.
104.1, yes.
Yes!
Oh my God.
That, and he's got the I always say it wrong, obligatory podcast with his co-host Kermit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's coming up with just crazy stuff. His stand-up is hysterical. I've seen it live and just love it. So, I mean, he's totally worth checking out. And I guess he's not awful to have as co-host. However, Danny,
I didn't do it.
You're slowly becoming my favorite.
Don't say that. Shh. Don't tell him. I don't need anybody putting any hits on me.
He is Italian.
So am I. See, I'm saying he'll put out a hit. And
so am I. Dude.
See, it's our family's putting out contracts.
This is where they got that whole 3-6 Mafia from. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you.
No, it's awful. All right. So, but it's been great talking to you, love. How is your blood sugar before we sign off?
I am at 134.
Nice. Ooh, let me see. I gotta zoom myself. Zoom. Come on, motherfucker, zoom. 118.
That's what's up.
I know, So
See,
no wine for me tonight at all. Dear God. But
play it safe.
darling, absolutely wonderful. I hope, and I will be checking in to make sure that things go better soon. But it will.
It will.
I
It
believe
always
it
will.
will.
The sun will come out tomorrow, and if not tomorrow, it'll be the next day. It can't rain forever, right?
Exactly. And even if it does, it's just going to drain the swamp. All right. Dora,
I'm
you have a
tired.
good night.
You, hun.
Bye.
Bye.